James never expected a simple movie night at home to take such a dramatic turn. As he lounged on his couch, enjoying a bag of buttery popcorn, his teeth suddenly hit something hard. Confused, he fished through the kernels and pulled out a gleaming wedding ring. The intricate design and engraving inside hinted at a story far bigger than he could imagine. Curiosity piqued, James decided to take the ring to a local jeweler, Mr. Wilson, hoping to find its rightful owner. When he entered the shop and recounted his story, the jeweler's face mirrored his disbelief. A ring? In a popcorn bag? That's certainly a first, Mr. Wilson remarked, eagerly asking to see it. James carefully unwrapped the ring and placed it on the counter, watching as the jeweler inspected it with a magnifying glass. "This is beautiful craftsmanship," Mr. Wilson muttered, his tone shifting as he examined the engraving. Suddenly, he froze, muttering under his breath, "This can't be true!" Without another word, he turned abruptly and disappeared into the back of the shop, leaving James bewildered. "Sir, Mr. Wilson, is everything all right?" James called out, but there was no response. Frustrated and unsure of what to do, James considered leaving. After all, he'd found the ring and had no intention of letting it go without answers. Minutes later, Mr. Wilson reappeared, looking skeptical. "Where exactly did you say you found this ring?" he asked, his tone now laced with suspicion. James explained again, but the jeweler's doubt was evident. "In a popcorn bag? Are you sure?" Mr. Wilson pressed. Annoyed, James demanded the ring back, but the jeweler refused, claiming it was locked safely in his office. "I'm sorry, sir, but I can't let you leave," he added gravely. James, now angry, retorted, "You can't keep me here either. Give me the ring or I'm leaving." The tension escalated when Mr. Wilson revealed that he had already called the police. "The police? Why?" James exclaimed, his disbelief turning to panic. "I know what you're doing," the jeweler accused, his voice rising for the first time. Before James could respond, the distant sound of sirens grew louder, signaling that his troubles were just beginning. The shop door swung open as two officers entered, their expressions unreadable. "James Arthur Reed?" one asked, holding a slip of paper. James nodded, his stomach sinking. "We need you to come with us to address an accusation of theft," the officer continued. Before James could protest, cold handcuffs snapped around his wrists. In the back room of the shop, James faced the officer's skeptical gazes. "You found a high-value ring in a popcorn bag?" Officer Lynn questioned, her tone dripping with doubt. James recounted his story, emphasizing how he'd bitten into the ring while eating popcorn at home. Despite his insistence, the officers exchanged a knowing glance, their disbelief palpable. At the station, James sat under the harsh glow of fluorescent lights in an interrogation room. Detective Harlow leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "A wedding ring in popcorn? Do you expect us to believe that?" he asked. James repeated his story, unwavering. But as the detectives dissected every detail, it felt like his truth was slipping further away. Without tangible evidence to support his bizarre tale, James realized he was fighting an uphill battle. The turning point came when the detectives reviewed security footage from the popcorn store. The video showed James purchasing the bag of popcorn at the exact time he claimed. This timestamp contradicted the timeline of the reported theft, casting doubt on the accusations against him. Though it didn't clear him entirely, it provided a critical alibi. Released on bail, James returned home to Zara, his wife, who had stood by him through the ordeal. Together, they resolved to uncover the truth behind the mysterious ring and the chaos it had brought into their lives. Their journey began where it all started, the popcorn store. Stepping into the shop, James spoke to the cashier who had sold him the bag of popcorn. Initially unhelpful, the cashier's demeanor changed when James mentioned the ring. He hesitated, his expression betraying unease. With careful prodding, James learned of rumors about strange occurrences tied to the popcorn. Other customers had also found unexpected items hidden inside their purchases. Back home, James and Zara pieced together what little information they had. Online, they found forums where others recounted eerily similar experiences, valuable items discovered in everyday purchases. As they read through post after post, it became clear that these weren't isolated incidents, but part of a larger, sinister pattern. Fueled by the unsettling revelations from the forums, James and Zara dug deeper into the strange occurrences. They reached out to other individuals who had posted about finding valuables in unexpected places. Responses poured in, detailing discoveries of jewelry, coins, and other high-value items in bags of chips, books, and even furniture. It seemed James wasn't alone. This was part of a larger, deliberate scheme. The forums painted a picture of deceit, stolen goods smuggled into everyday products and distributed unknowingly to customers. The patterns were too consistent to ignore. James realized the popcorn bag wasn't a random anomaly, but part of an intricate operation. Determined to get to the bottom of it, he decided to monitor the popcorn store more closely. One evening, James parked across the street from the shop, watching the employees through binoculars. He noticed one worker moving boxes of popcorn with unusual care. His motions were deliberate, his eyes darting around nervously, as if ensuring no one was watching. James took note of the employee's name tag and began piecing together his identity using social media. To his shock, the man had connections to individuals tied to local burglaries. James's suspicions grew stronger. Armed with a camera, he began documenting the employee's movements. Over several days, he captured images of peculiar exchanges and interactions, enough to paint a picture of shady dealings. Word of James's investigation spread through the online forum, and soon others joined his efforts. What began as a solo mission turned into a collaborative stakeout, with people taking shifts to watch the store and its employees. Through their collective observations, they noticed patterns that couldn't be ignored. The employee regularly handled certain shipments with extra care, sometimes meeting with shadowy figures behind the store. Each interaction seemed to add another piece to the puzzle. The group now had enough evidence to approach the authorities again, this time with a stronger case. With the help of a private investigator, James and Zara traced the stolen goods journey. It became evident that the popcorn bags and other products were being used to smuggle valuables, part of an elaborate network of theft and distribution. The investigators' findings linked the popcorn store employee to a larger burglary ring. The police, now convinced of the seriousness of the operation, set up a sting. Cameras were installed to monitor the next shipment of popcorn. When the employee was caught placing a valuable item into one of the bags, the trap was sprung, and he was apprehended on the spot. In the cold glare of the interrogation room, the employee initially denied everything, but the evidence was overwhelming. Videos, witness accounts, and stolen items found in his possession left little room for escape. Under mounting pressure, the man broke down and confessed. He revealed the inner workings of a sophisticated burglary ring that used unsuspecting products, like popcorn bags, as vessels to transport stolen goods. The confession was a breakthrough. With his information, police unraveled the network behind the operation. It stretched beyond the neighborhood, involving multiple players and strategies to distribute stolen items without detection. Each step of the scheme was audacious, relying on the randomness of everyday commerce to cover its tracks. Meanwhile, Mr. Wilson, the jeweler, faced his own reckoning. Although he had acted out of suspicion, he realized his shop had unwittingly been used by the ring to appraise stolen items. The discovery shook him, and his earlier accusations against James now weighed heavily on his conscience. He reached out to James to apologize, admitting his mistake and thanking him for bringing the truth to light. James, though still frustrated by the ordeal, accepted the apology, understanding they had both been pawns in a larger game. One of the stolen items traced through the employee's confession was the ring James had found. It belonged to an elderly widow whose home had been burglarized months earlier. When James and Zara returned the ring, the woman was overcome with emotion. Tears streamed down her face as she held the precious keepsake, a symbol of her late husband. She insisted on rewarding James, calling his honesty a rare gift in such troubling times. Though reluctant, James accepted the gesture, understanding it was her way of expressing gratitude. As the police continued dismantling the burglary ring, the community began to heal. The revelations brought relief to those who had been victims of theft, and trust began to rebuild among neighbors. The forums that once buzzed with confusion and fear now celebrated the resolution of the mystery. People shared their gratitude for James and Zara's persistence, hailing them as unlikely heroes. For James, the journey left a lasting mark. He often reflected on how a single moment, biting into that popcorn, had spiraled into an odyssey of accusation, investigation, and justice. Though it had tested his integrity and resolve, it also reaffirmed the importance of standing by the truth, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. The ordeal had come full circle. Back in their living room, James and Zara shared a quiet evening, the chaos behind them. As they sat together, they realized their experience had brought them closer and strengthened their bond. The ring had returned to its rightful owner, and justice had been served. After a long and arduous journey filled with accusations and investigations, James and Zara's story concluded with justice served and the truth revealed. What began as a simple moment, finding a wedding ring in a bag of popcorn, quickly spiraled into a complex series of events that unraveled a vast network of theft and deception. With determination and the help of a community of affected individuals, James and Zara uncovered a sophisticated scheme to smuggle stolen items through ordinary products. Their perseverance and tireless efforts played a crucial role in capturing the perpetrators and dismantling the criminal operation. For the elderly widow who was reunited with her cherished ring, the ending marked the recovery of a piece of her past and her late husband's memory. Her tears and heartfelt gratitude spoke volumes about the profound impact of James's honesty and courage. As for James and Zara, they returned to their daily lives, stronger and more united, carrying with them the lesson that standing up for the truth is always worth the effort. Their home, the starting point of this incredible journey, became a symbol of justice and resilience. This story proved that small moments can lead to extraordinary adventures, and that persistence in the face of doubt can change lives in unimaginable ways.